If you have been managing SAP Fiori homepage groups for the last few years, you already know the pain. Dozens of catalogs, hundreds of tiles, and a flat structure that makes governance almost impossible. With S/4HANA, SAP is making Spaces the default launchpad model, and classic homepage groups are officially deprecated. This is not a cosmetic change. It is a fundamental shift in how you organize, transport, and govern Launchpad content. In the next few minutes, you will learn exactly what changes, what tools replace the old ones, and how to plan a migration that does not break your user's experience.
Let us be honest about why the old model struggles. Every user sees catalogs and groups, but there is no hierarchy, no logical grouping beyond those two layers. When you manage 50 or 60 business roles, each with its own catalog, the Launchpad becomes a wall of tiles. Personalization is all or nothing. Users can move tiles around, but admins cannot enforce a consistent layout across departments. Worst of all, transporting changes means moving entire catalogs through your landscape, even if you only changed one tile assignment. Spaces and Pages solve each of these problems by introducing a structured, hierarchical content model.
Here is the new hierarchy. A space is a top-level container that represents a business area, like finance or procurement. Inside each space, you create pages. A page is a layout canvas that holds sections, and each section contains your tiles and cards. Think of it like a website. Spaces are your navigation menu. Pages are the individual screens. Sections are the content blocks within each screen. This three-tier model gives you real information architecture. You can group related applications logically, present role-specific landing pages, and control what users see at every level. The key transaction for managing all of this is /UI2/FLPCA, the App Finder, which replaces the old Launchpad designer.
Two tools are central to the new model. First, /UI2/FLPCA. This is your admin cockpit. You define spaces, create pages, assign sections, and map content to business roles. It replaces the catalog and group assignment workflow you did in the old Launchpad designer. Second, /UI2/FLCA_user. This tool lets you preview exactly what an end user sees based on their role assignments. It is invaluable for troubleshooting. When a user says, "I cannot find my app," you open FLCA user, enter their user ID, and immediately see their resolved spaces and pages. No more guessing which catalog or target mapping is missing.
In real landscapes, your Launchpad content does not live on a single system. You might have finance apps on one S/4HANA backend, procurement on another, and a central front-end server aggregating everything. Each backend system exposes its space and page definitions through OData services. The front-end server aggregates them into a unified Launchpad. The critical detail is the content provider configuration. You register each backend as a content provider in the front-end system, and the aggregator merges their spaces and pages into the user's view. If two backends define the same space ID, the system merges the pages underneath. This means you need a governance, and you need it before you start building. One of the biggest improvements is the structure. In the old world, users could rearrange tiles freely, and admins had no way to enforce a baseline. Spaces and Pages introduce a clear boundary. Admins lock the structure, which spaces appear, which pages exist, which sections are visible. Users personalize within the sections, reordering tiles, hiding individual apps, or adding bookmarks. You control this boundary through the personalization scope settings in FLPCA. You can make specific sections non-personalizable or allow full freedom. The result is consistent layouts across departments with just enough flexibility that users do not feel restricted. Transporting spaces and pages follows the same transport layer you already know, but the objects are different. Instead of catalog and group customizing, you are now transporting SAP Fiori as customizing objects through your landscape. The recommended approach is to use transport requests from FLPCA, not manual SE10 exports. Each space and page gets its own transport entry, so you can move them independently. For migration, SAP provides a transporter that converts existing catalog and group assignments into spaces and pages. The tool maps your current role to catalog assignments to the new model. However, it generates a one-to-one conversion, meaning every old group becomes a page. You will almost certainly want to rationalize and consolidate afterward. Plan for a cleanup phase where you merge redundant pages and establish your target information architecture. Let us close with a concrete action plan. Step 1. Audit your current catalogs and groups using transactions/UI2/FLPD. Identify redundancies. Step 2. Define your target space and page structure on paper before touching FLPCA. Step 3. Run the migration tool in your development system first. Review the output. Step 4. Consolidate and rationalize the generated pages. Step 5. Establish naming conventions for spaces and pages across all back-end systems. Step 6. Configure content providers on your front-end server. Step 7. Test with key users from each business role. Step 8. Transport to quality, validate, and promote to production. Start this work now. The classic model is deprecated, and the sooner you migrate, the sooner your users benefit from a modern governable launchpad.